Depending on what state you live in, you might have heard the term deed of trust and be wondering what it means. When someone buys a house, everyone just calls it a mortgage, but the instrument used to borrow money from a lender to buy a home is not always a mortgage. It can also be what's called a deed of trust. To understand the difference between a deed of trust and a mortgage, you first need to understand the similarities. A mortgage is not a loan, and neither is a deed of trust. A mortgage is the name of an instrument used to place a lien on the home. A deed of trust performs the same function. It places a lien on the home. The mortgage, or deed of trust, establishes the lien on the home. It is not actually the instrument used to borrow money. This distinction, between the loan itself and the mortgage or deed of trust is important because the main difference between a mortgage and a deed of trust is how the lien is enforced. A mortgage takes place directly between a borrower and a lender. As such, when a borrower defaults on a loan, the lender conducts what is called a judicial foreclosure, which just means that the lender opens a lawsuit against the borrower in order to foreclose on the home. A deed of trust is between the lender, the borrower, and a third party called the trustee. In the event of default, the trustee, which is usually an escrow company, is the one who initiates the foreclosure process. These differences make a deed of trust cheaper for the lender and borrower in case of foreclosure, no court costs, but they also make it more difficult for the average borrower to know 100% what they're agreeing to without consulting a lawyer. If you're in a state that allows either a mortgage or a deed of trust, then you'll want to see what requirements your state has on deeds of trust to see if one would be favorable to your situation. There's also a good chance that even if the state allows either one, your lender will only be willing to use one or the other. In the end, mortgage versus deed of trust is not really something you need to worry about, but you should at least know the difference so that you know what you're getting into.